I'm Susan. Welcome to Teen Games. This is going to be a little bit different from my usual videos in that I'm just going to be talking briefly about one game. I am hoping to do a second video this week. But I know that a number of people who, like me, love the original A Gentle Rain are wondering what the difference is between the new edition and the older edition, and if they should bother getting the new edition. I should say there's no promotional material in here. I am not a professional board game creator. I don't get free stuff from anybody. But I really like A Gentle Rain, and I was unhappy when it went out of print because I had just introduced it to a friend of mine who wanted a copy of it. So Incredible Dream Studios has brought it back into print. And they brought it back into print in a box this size. I believe the artwork is slightly different. It's more green than dark blue. But I decided to get the deluxeified version if I was going to get a second one of A Gentle Rain. This is the original for those of you who are not familiar with it. It comes in this little box. Down here in the very bottom are the lily tokens, and here are the tiles. Tokens look like this. So, what's the difference and what's the same? Now, I'm going to be looking at the Bloom edition, which is a Target exclusive. But as far as I know, most of what I'm saying is going to apply to just the new standard regular edition that Incredible Dreams has come out with. This edition is now, the Bloom edition is now available from Target, and the main difference between it and a regular edition is that it has deluxeified lily pieces. We'll get to that in a minute. The same. The tiles are the same size, the same shape, and there are the same number of them as in the original game. Now, looking at these tiles, when I first got it and I opened it up here, I was comparing the tiles. Well, the backs of the tiles are different, but that's not really here nor there. But looking at the tiles on edge, and maybe this is just some weirdness with my eyes, but it appears to me that the new tiles on this side are ever so slightly thicker, just fractionally thicker. They feel different in my hand, and that's because the finish on this feels a little bit different. But otherwise, the tiles seem to be the same, and the thickness of the tiles is not something that you would notice when you're handling them, because if it's there at all, it is minuscule. But here's the interesting thing, because I had to try this, because a lot of people are going like, I don't want to get the deluxe edition. I mean, the big tile thingies here look nice, but I like the little small compact box, so I'll get like the little small compact box version that they've come out with. But you don't have to if you really want the deluxe tokens here, because I tried it. I took all the tiles and tokens out of the original box. I am assuming, don't quote me on this because I don't have the new edition of the small compact version, but in the original box, all of these tiles and all of these tokens will fit in here. So yeah, I mean, they're not going to stack as neatly as these wooden tokens do in this original box, but yeah, it will totally work. The rule book is very similar. It has some of the same nice meditative text on it. It's laid out slightly differently, but pretty much the same. I think they rewrote the rules slightly, but that had, as far as I can tell, more to do with clarifying things and basically just smoothing out the text a little on how to play. The new tiles When you lay these things down, you form a square, which creates a hole in the center of the square. And the hole appears to be slightly bigger. And that was a problem with the original game, because the original game, the tokens, when you put them into the hole, having completed one of those squares, the tokens wouldn't go into the hole without pushing the tiles apart, or they would sit kind of lopsided, just barely hanging on top of the tile and kind of falling half into the hole. So this deluxified version definitely takes care of that. I cannot speak to the tokens that they have in the small box new version of it. But these deluxe tiles here, they've got this. See? They've got that little round piece there. And so consequently, these things just kind of snap in perfectly on the tiles when you do it. It's very satisfying and it's very lovely. You have this pretty green base for the plastic tokens. I do like the look of them. There is something elegant about the simplicity of the wooden tokens. And I do like that too. I don't think that one is necessarily better than the other. I think that the colors on these tokens, on the deluxified tokens, are much more clear. They're very easy to distinguish, which brings me to colors. The colors on this are somewhat different. You may have noticed in some of the pictures I've already flashed up there, and if not, I'll put another pic up. The new tiles are darker and the colors are more muted. The original tiles, the colors are much more vibrant, and the background and the tile and the lilies on the tiles are just a little bit lighter in shade. This all looks very, very dark. It is so dark that it was a while before I even noticed that there were frogs on some of the lily pads. And that's something that they added in the artwork here, which I do like. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a turtle here. And there are, I think this is an otter. And here is one of the ones with a frog. There's also a dragonfly in one of them, and fish swimming between the lily pads, which I like that addition to the artwork a lot. The tiles are just like the other tiles, except, and this goes back to the color, they swapped out a color. We now have, what is it, red? Yeah. We now have a red lily in the pond because we don't have a green lily in the pond. So when I say that the tiles are the same, they are the same, except that there are no more green lilies or green tokens. Any place that there would have been a green, there's now a red. And one more thing, it's been reported that there was possibly a printing error in the original edition because of the distribution and positioning of the colors on the tiles. I think it's possible that this version has corrected that error because there are two tiles that are not matching other tiles that are in the original version. I did a tile by tile matchup of the tiles in the original version with the new tiles, making allowances for the fact that we now have red. And the red and the orange look close to me. I think they might have been better off going with green, but perhaps not, since they have a green base for all of these, and since the colors are so muted. The purple and the black also look sort of similar to me. I wish that the colors had been a little bit more distinguished on these tiles and not so dark and muted. But yeah, you can see in this picture here, the new tiles are in the top row and the original tiles are below them. So this could be a correction of a mistake in the printing and color distribution, because all the other tiles match perfectly and these tiles match, except that colors in one position are swapped out. So it's possible that this is going to play slightly differently than the original version, because there's going to be a slight distribution, tile distribution difference. My overall feeling of this is it's very mixed. There's stuff that I like about this one more than the original, like the fact that you can have pieces that are going to fit directly into the holes because of the way the pieces are sized and the way the holes that are created by the tiles are sized in this version. You don't have any of those wonky tile those pieces wobbling on top of the tiles anymore. I like these tokens, but I don't know that I necessarily like them more or less than the original, like regular flat round wooden tokens, which is probably what you're going to get in the new version of this, the small box version. These tiles, if they have indeed corrected an error in printing for the color distribution on these, then that would be a good thing, even though it may tank. Actually, it did tank my winning streak. But that may not have been due to that. But I suspect my win to loss ratio is going to change with the new game. I'm not certain about that, but since they have changed the color distribution on two tiles, that is indeed possible. I like the color palette of the other one better. I think the colors stand out more. The lilies are bigger and brighter in the other one. But on the other hand, I really like that these tiles are less stark. They've got lily pads between the lilies. They've got frogs and dragonflies and turtles and fish and sea otters and things like that. Whereas these tiles are more, of course I can't get one out now, are more basic. They have the color, and you have like a water ripple on the water, but no extra lily pads, no extra animals or anything like that, just the lilies. So I do like the more fully realized artwork on the new tiles. I just wish the colors were a little bit more vibrant and the lilies were maybe a little bit bigger. I don't have a lot of trouble distinguishing things or seeing things. My vision is pretty good, but if you are visually impaired, this may be a little bit more difficult for you than the other one. Or if you have trouble distinguishing two colors that are close, you might have a problem. Since I don't have that particular problem of distinguishing colors, I'm not really sure how much of a difficulty this will be. But anyhow, I know a lot of people have been wondering about the different versions. And like I said, I do not have the new small box of this. The tokens in those will be different from these, of course. And a lot of people just immediately didn't like the Target thingy because this is such a nifty, compact box size here. It's nice and small and neat, and everything slots in really well. And then you have the Bloom edition, which is, I mean, it's not very thick, but, I mean, it's a box. But if that's the only reason why you're not getting the Bloom edition, if you really like these tiles and these kind of tokens, if you got the original, just swap them out in the box, because the stuff in the Bloom edition will fit into the original box. So yeah, you can kind of have the best of both worlds if you already have the original edition and are dithering about whether or not to get the new one. Anyhow, this is kind of going to be a short video because I am going to try to make another video later this week. I've fallen a little bit behind because there's a bunch of stuff that I want to talk about, and we've been playing some stuff. But yeah, if you want to know about that, that will give you a little bit more information to go on, at least about the Bloom edition, which is at Target right now. And it's been nice chatting with you around the table. I will be back for a more substantive video. At least I hope it'll be more substantive later this week. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all next time around the table.